Greetings families, welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this is your first time, my name is Mambi and you are very welcome. This video is just to inspire Africans that we can be independent, food security as we have been talking about, and aid and all that. We can do it ourselves. Right now, President Trump is saying that no more aid for Africans. We shouldn't be having aid anyway. I'm not surprised because this is how, when you keep begging, that's what happens. The video is long already. Please, families, watch this video. I've shared part 1, I've shared part 2. This is another update, the third one, how far they have come, how the fishes are growing, the open water fish pond. I'll be back, families. Thank you for your time.
More than 15 tons of croissants were collected on 18/20/24 in Saint-Mandé. A large government delegation was on hand for the occasion, and Madame Caboret's platform was chosen to kick off the harvest. The promoter harvested nearly 5 tons. In one of the 10 cages available to her for a trial run, it was a masterstroke. Port d'Armes Caboret. I'm extremely satisfied. I'm surprised by such a result, because I didn't expect to see fish of this size in such a short space of time, 3.5, 4 months, when you can see fish like this or when you know that we were at 23G on March 27th. Pass. What's a 708 100G? Just about in the space of 4 months. That's new to me, so I'm really into it. I'm amazed. I'm really satisfied. Like Madame Caboret, 3 other promoters harvested their first crop that day. After 3 years, for years, what does it mean? We couldn't do it at the center in 3 months, but we were able to do it at the dam, so we're really satisfied. The government couldn't have done any better. Without an increase, the government can't do any better than that. Isn't that too much of an exaggeration? The dam cannot feed Burkina in terms of fish, and I think it was a very good vision on the part of the governments. And that's to be applauded. And it's not demagogy, it's not demagogy. I'm not playing politics here, it's real, it's a concrete fact. The government's decision, with the commitment of the head of state, we all agree. We had planned to make up at least 50%, but I'm convinced that within a year we'll be able to cover all Burkina's needs. We'll reach our goals right up to the beginning. In any case, we had estimated a 6-month cycle, but we can already see that at 4 months in all, we can have at least 4 tons per cage. This is satisfactory, very satisfactory, because instead of a 6-month cycle, we have 4 months. Can already see when it reduces expenses? It's proof today that the agro-silvo, pastoral and halieutical offensive, but also that the presidential initiative for food sovereignty, is on the march beyond the rhetoric, and I think these are very encouraging results which show that we're really on the right track, and we must therefore take our hats off to all the players. Floating cage fish farming is a government initiative led by the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources. It aims to intensify fish production in Burkina Faso, to reduce importation. We wanted this project to be in line with the targets we set ourselves as part of the agro-pastoral and halieutical offensive, i.e. to produce, endogenously, 100,000 tons of fish, which corresponds to 50% of our needs in terms of national consumption. But given what we've seen today and the enthusiasm of the various players, I think we can reduce the time frame in which we reach this objective and aim for a much higher target instead. Personally, I think it's a great initiative on the part of the government. Who are we in the private sector? Who are we in the agro-silvopastoral? In the area of food production and self-sufficiency, we have seized this opportunity to become part of this development project. So we can only salute this offensive. So we're obviously very satisfied to be leaving today, and I think that our colleagues, who are also members of the government, were able to get a first-hand feel of the realities of this production, and when the time comes we'll have the government support we need to bring the project to a successful conclusion. To achieve project objectives, the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Resources and Fisheries is promoting floating cage fish farming. The technique, according to specialists, enables production to be intensified. We looked at all the works. The most efficient structure in fish farming is the floating hut, which can achieve biomasses of 100 kg per cubic meter, unlike land-based structures which are between 1 kg and 4 kg per cubic meter. So you see, this is really about intensification. And that's really enabled us to get results, very good results, in such a short space of time. But after only 4 months of experimentation, the results are beyond the technicians' expectations. We've been pleasantly surprised. In the south of France, fish are growing faster than the feed they're given, allowing for triple the production with less than a kilo of feed. We have good water quality, as well as the presence of algae and other nutrients in the water to feed the fish. In 4 months, we've already been able to produce fish weighing 500 to 600 g on average. In Burkina, in conventional fish farms, it usually took a year, 8 months or even longer to reach these weights. And that's it. So that means that, through cash, we're now using all of these. We shortened the tilapia production cycle by 50%. Floating cash fish farming will be practiced nationwide. Initially planned to use 3 sites, namely the Chamandoni Dam, the Sun Dam and the Bagre Dam as of today. We have gone beyond these 3 figures, and what we have deemed necessary, at least in each region, is at least 1 site. So that means that at the moment, today, and we already have cages in addition to the 3 sites I've already mentioned, we have cages at the Lumbila level and even at the Petani Dam level too. As for the other regions, we also plan to install the framework in the coming months. In addition to the MAR campaign for the installation of fish farming infrastructures, the Ministry, through its projects and programs and the Homo Kafa Fund, provides various forms of support to help achieve the Ministry's production objectives, a range of projects and programs such as PIMSA, Pre-Sell and others. The Mukafa Fund, which supports us directly to intervene and improve fish production in floating cases. Beyond that, there's a project managed by an NGO, called ePeasant, which is providing us with a great deal of support. We're also working to help players set up and achieve our target of 10,000 floating huts by 2025. We are involved in the fish industry, in the fish value chain. Whether it's production, we provide actors, sires and underperformers. The 20s, in terms of production. We provide producers with production equipment such as floating caches, ponds and basins to help them improve production and productivity. We are also involved in the transportation of fish and wine, providing producers with suitable means of transport. So we've just carried out an operation that's still ongoing, which consisted in committing around 1.1 billion CFA francs to floating cash fish production. So our intervention is a value chain intervention, in other words it's circular financing where we attack not only the supply of inputs and equipment, but also the purchase and sale link. As a result, we have a strong presence in the fish farming sector, covering 45 actors recruited by normal route, by call for projects. Starting in May, we'll be providing them with a minimum of 2 cash floats and a maximum of 16 cash floats per player. We have committed a budget of around 740 million CFA francs to set them up. Yes, there are projects working with us, Bunkafa, Pre-Sale and others. in order to be able to effectively support the promoters by providing them not only with the financial means, but also with foodstuffs that are expensive, and which they have subsidized. And there are even projects that have really given away for free, haven't they? And to encourage these promoters. In any case, we can say that there is definite encouragement and people are committed to this. The other element is that, as you can see, we have real constraints in terms of access to fish feed. That's why we thought it would be very useful to make a commitment in this area too, by continuing to support the fish feed industry. With the help of a player we supported, we were able to make available all the power needed to carry out these various projects in the field, and we injected funding of around 340 million. If we take stock, we've already invested more than 2 billion euros in the fish industry between March and now, which we think will help to reduce production costs a little, so that we can play on the pitches. The ministry's projects and programs for fish farmers are continuing.
Yes, they have used the madam. She has been following them ever since. If you look back, you will see her in the picture. She has invested. So do many people have invested. They want to do this throughout the country so that next year, no more importation of food. And just now, they are saying that it's exceeding their expectations already. There's this part that I'm really happy when I came across it, is they are going to be giving some percentage of discount to particular age women and men to be doing this fish farming, to motivate them, to encourage them to use as a starter to start this fish farming. I was so happy. These people, those who will be serious, will not be walking to Europe, that they don't want them anymore. Families, please listen. The amount of discount they will be giving to our youth to start this. I'll be back.
Any Burkina can benefit, and there's a positive segregation in favor of women, so women have projects that we can finance over and above the 4000000, with a subsidy of up to 3 million for women and young people, depending on their age. For example, if you're under 35, we'll give you a 70% subsidy for your micro project. This also applies to youth associations whose members are mostly men. If they are over 35, we can give them a grant of around 60%, but if the majority are under 35, we'll fund around 70%. As for selling their production, fish farmers have nothing to worry about. The ministry has put in place mechanisms to facilitate the purchase of fish. The fish subsidiary is such that, after production, the product will be a live product. And it needs either to be sold urgently, or to be relatively preserved so that it can be sold at a given time. And the players we're inviting to commit either to give up or to cross the line. And led by the ministry in charge of agriculture, these players need effective resources for their purchases, not promises of resources, because they need to stock their cages very quickly after removing their fish. So they need hard cash to actually meet their needs. However, our players who intervene to buy back the fish. Fishmongers may not have the financial capacity to recover stock from cages, making it important that we can make a rapid selection of the players in this field to give them credit so that they can go to the floating fish caches during the fishing season for all the tonnages that come out. To be able to effectively buy back liquidity to enable the cycle to continue operating. The cycle, which is harvesting fish, is harvesting fish. Without this intervention, the cycle effectively seizes up and the whole project runs into difficulties. That's why we issued financing, this time from 3 of 3 buyers. So let's call the wedding and get them to buy these fish and put them in refrigerated trucks so they can be sold. Madame TRAORE is one of the beneficiaries of the Qatar Fund. She's in Sambrantini to buy fish. I'm planning to return with 15 tons, so 5 tons today and 10 tons in May to the producers. I'd like to encourage them and guarantee that their production will be taken away, so that they don't get discouraged and say, no. We produce fish but struggle to find buyers due to high demand. Producers and wholesalers in Burkina need to be organized to meet the high demand for fish. There is a market with demand exceeding supply, and there is still room for growth at the national level. Being well organized will ensure that the fish produced will be sold. Our message to consumers is to eat fish produced in Burkina Faso for health and quality reasons. The fish is very good and fresh, with a perfect taste compared to imported fish. The agro-pastoral analytic offensive means job creation. I have 18 permanent employees, not only on the production of the green lanes, but also on the dams to support them. And most of it is students at the end of their studies who need to demonstrate what they've been calling in classes here at the time, us working. Long before that, well, I had no involvement in any activity. Until I was recruited by Paso's CEO to come and follow. These floating huts are here at the Barra de Samandeli. And it's really enabled me to take care of myself and my needs, as well as giving a helping hand to my friends and anyone else who needs or wants my support. I have 4 fishermen with me, including a trainee. They are very committed, very serious and work hard every day. We're going to watch it on TV. We didn't even think it looked like this. And really today we're here, we're like we are in China today. Here's this product. The fish product in floating cages is for the first time here, and it's beer here. Amadou, Nina, ISO, and Kalapo have left Kopianga because of the insecurity in the area. One helps fish farmers to get around on the water thanks to a speedboat granted to him by the ministry, while the other works in fish farming. Both say they earn their living thanks to the government's initiative in Akira Kasrama. We were students, but with the insecurity, we left our area and then came here. It was fishing, we did, and we continued as when the fish farm arrived. We branched out there. In any case, the work is good. He works so cool, we managed to get some really big fish. Here's the harvest today, everyone's happy. Pierre, I'm making a bit of money with these pennies, I'm managing to get by a bit in the fish farming sector. As of today, we're in a situation where the total amount of financial credits is around 1.2 billion French francs. This funding will enable us to support 45 floating cash fish farmers, creating around 300 jobs. Directly on the means of production. So in terms of means and equipment and it's true these aren't jobs of a certain duration, but they are temporary jobs of very high numbers affecting around more than 100 temporary jobs that are created then and in terms of the Magnon so resale. So, not only does the financing enable us to maintain the activities of certain matchmakers, it also creates around 5 jobs per wedding. So we can respond to job creation needs. The Ministry of Agriculture works to make anima fish accessible and improve working conditions for players. 50% of the feed was manufactured by one player, with the other 50% imported. That even 100% of the food used at the dam is locally produced. This would enable us to reduce the number of tanks needed to produce other things, the logistics of getting the breeders to the site, and even the logistics of harvesting. We have projects that are also planning to support us in this direction, namely the Salt Prize and the PIMSA project, which are planning to give us refrigerated vehicles to transport the feed and even the fish harvested on the site. The project is already helping us set up feed mills producing at least 5 tons per hour and effectively optimize fish feed production costs. Then we'll have to install cold chambers and the whole cold chain needed to preserve fish. We'll be installing modern fish farming stations to support private developers to be able to make available everything that goes into quality monosex wines. Economic operators, players in the agri-food sector, the diaspora, and all those of goodwill are therefore invited to become massively involved in fish farming. For a sovereign Burkina Faso, we're working together. It's not competition, there's space, and the ministry has put its trust in us. So what's there to fear? Our mission is to supply the fish. On the other hand, there are promoters. There are people in the shade who want to come along. I invite them to come soon. Otherwise, I don't think that at the end of a year, if there's still space on the water, we're calling on the private sector and private developers to become more effectively and more involved in production through private investment to enable us to reach the target by 2025. We assure them that this is a business, economically sound and highly profitable, too. The proof is in the pudding this morning. In just 75 m3. Sales are between 10 million and 12 million CFA francs. We're trying to make an operating statement and we're satisfied. In any case, we're looking at fairly good margins. We may not be multimillionaires, but we're not far off. And the bottom line of the book, to reassure you, is to remain definitively ready to assess all business plans and to look at the credibility and support of the players we want. It's not just the Mukafa fund that we're committed to. A number of financing instruments have been set up, including the fund we wanted, and banks are gradually beginning to take an interest in this field. So this is an opportunity to call on the people of Burkina Faso to believe in this vision, in this dynamic that has been set in motion. And when you look at it, it's not just for show. In terms of sales, it also means good business. So on all lines, it's really with great satisfaction that we note these first harvests, which certainly herald others. And our hope is that in the months to come, when we come back here to Es Armandine, a good part of the lake will be taken over by operators and investors who will produce enough fish to feed the people of Burkina Faso. It's freshwater fish, which means that the quality is not to be compared with the often controversial imported fish. Tellement rabe is tendre. Ts ma face tellement à la rabe is tendre. Ts ma face tiens ts la revolution, ts dance.
For me, this is the part that I'm really, really happy about. And this will not be possible if the government, if the agriculture minister do not work hard to get them to this stage, because many a times the government will do a bit and then the rest, extension officers, agric officers, they will sit in their office with their pen and paper and be giving orders. They will not go and see what is going on. Anytime they show or share a video about agriculture, this minister is there with them, seeing, promising, giving. All the time he's there with them. Please, Africa leaders, make it possible, because we can do it. These are looking great. I'm so happy for this development. I want to share it with you. I know it's long, but if you are happy about the progress of this fish farming, please give the video thumbs up and share it. Who knows? Some people will be there looking for business. They can invest. They are there with their eyes, the lorry, they pack them. What else do you want? All you need is your energy to be there to work, which the government, by the way, will be helping you, supporting you 75%, 60%, even if it is 30%. You already succeed. I'm happy for our brothers and sisters who are hardworking and will take advantage of this initiative because it's best for them. And I can't wait. I can't wait for them to stop importing fish that they don't know what they are eating. Thank you, families. I can go on and go on about this, but I will leave you here. God bless you all. Credit to Faso 7, all of them. I wish them all the best so we can hear many, many more good news from this fish family, the Greek side, the farming side, everything, because we are cheering them up. We know if they succeed, the rest, even those who are sleeping, will wake up. Thank you, families. I will see you soon. Bye bye.